And Caleb, I've got to get your thoughts when we talk about anti-Semitism in this country, the pro-Palestine, pro-Hamas protests, really, all the stuff that's been thrown at Israel. There's some steps forward today, right? We know the police are talking to these some of these hate preachers and looking at whether they've broken the law. And surprise, surprise, at Sydney Uni, the Chancellor there, Mark Scott, actually pushing back at the extremism of some of the pro-Palestine propaganda on the university grounds. That's a decent step forward, isn't it?
Well, as well he should. And look, I've generally been of the camp that universities ought to be a place where basically anything goes. You can say whatever you want, you can have any discussion you want, because if you can't have free speech on campus, then where can you have it? But the only problem is that a lot of the students in particular, and the lecturers and the professors at these universities, have turned the dial on that already. I mean, if you try to have a speech at a university and proffer the idea that there are only two genders, well, I mean, you get howled down. We can't have that. That's terrible. It's offensive. It's awful. It's going to harm people. So if we've gone to that extreme and said we can't have those discussions on campus anymore, then why should you also allow just rank outright anti-Semitism? You know, I understand there's an academic argument to be had about Zionism, and people are well within their rights to have that discussion, but when it veers into anti-Semitism, which is everything we have seen in the last few weeks, the campus is quite right to say no, we're not going to tolerate it.
Look, that stuff I showed at the top, Louise, it's just incredible that people want to sort of cancel the hostages. These are real, live, innocent people who at this very moment are in the hands of terrorists in Gaza, and these people want to pretend them away because they don't like the political consequences of having to support their rights. I just want to show you, before I get your thoughts on that, something that Hillary Clinton has had to say, because the lefties love Hillary Clinton. And if she can be this clear and forthright on why Hamas is evil and why Israel needs to be supported in its self-defence, then surely there's a lot on the left who ought to just wake up as well. Have a look.
Hamas is a terrorist organization. It has made very clear it is committed to the elimination of the state of Israel. I believe it's imperative, since we have had numerous ceasefires with Hamas, all of which they have violated, to try finally to dislodge Hamas and allow the Palestinians to have other leadership that will actually once again work for a two-state solution, which should be the outcome that we all hope and pray for.
There she is, Louise, Hillary Clinton, hero of the left. It is quite straightforward.
It is, and I didn't actually think I'd ever find myself agreeing with Hillary Clinton. She does make a very valid point, and I love the fact that you sort of referenced earlier, and you'll be talking to them later, the Holocaust survivors, of course, we had on the front page of the Australian today. That's what it comes down to. People who are 99 years old in this country now feeling they have to speak out against this wave of anti-Semitism. They never thought they would get back to that point in their lives.
Absolutely. People, Caleb, who have lived their whole lives here, grateful for the sanctity of this country, suddenly feeling, the sanctuary of this country, suddenly feeling threatened.
It's absurd, and the problem is we have allowed this to prosper. I know I've said it before, but the moment on, I think it was October the 9th, we allowed those demonstrations to occur on the steps of the Opera House where people shouted, "Gas the Jews," and instead of rounding them up and putting them in paddy wagons or getting the water cannons out and firing them into the harbour, we told Jews to stay at home because it would be unsafe for them. And that has just given people a green light to be openly anti-Semitic in public. I have people writing to me most nights now saying, "I'm Jewish and I've never felt so unsafe in my life." And how sad is that, to think that we have not learnt the lessons of Nazi Germany, which is living memory for many people.